Today on the show, it was my 29th birthday yesterday. So how the hell did I get a sponsor for it? All that and more on 20th Century Boy, the show that did put its name in the Goblet of Fire. Welcome to 20th Century Boy. My name is Rama Lama Ding Dong. And this is the inside of my mind. Welcome to the show, guys. Each week, of course, I do a different name. It's crazy. You never know what you're going to get. And today it was Rama Lama Ding Dong, sent in by producer Pat, who produces the show. Thank you for that, Pat. Send in your name suggestions because they are quite hard. Wow, this is a disoriented episode, and this is me, Radio Mike. That's my real name. Welcome to the podcast, 20th Century Boy, a podcast about me, Radio Mike, writer and producer from Melbourne, Australia. Hey, this podcast is the conversations you wish you were having about the stuff that nobody else cares about, and that's what the podcast is, okay? That's why you're here. It's a one-sided weekly 1 hour conversation between me and you. The only thing is you can't respond. In real time, you can respond at any point, and please get in touch. Comment on TikTok, YouTube, whatever, Instagram, Twitter. Just search Radio Mike. You'll find me, and email the show, radiomikepod@gmail.com. So easy to get in touch, and would absolutely love to hear from you. You guys help build the show. So please send something in, okay? Give me something to talk about. Guys, I feel like I say this every week, but it might be a shorter episode this week. I feel like every week I'm like, oh God, it's so busy. I have nothing to talk about. It's going to be a shorter episode. And then I kind of get to the episode and I actually end up going for like 45 minutes, which is sort of the target length for these podcasts anyway. I do think today could be a little bit shorter. Like, I actually mean it, basically because it has been a busy week. But, you know, if we follow the general pattern, maybe it will go for the appropriate length of time. A few things to kick off. Obviously, getting very close to Christmas now. Still not sure when this podcast will end and take a break for the year, but there will be definitely content coming up to Christmas at least. Tomorrow, Pat and I, and check out the Pat and Mike show on Patreon, patreon.com/Radio Mike. That comes out every Friday on Patreon. It's a bonus podcast for Patreon supporters. Little as $4, I think you can get that for. But also, there's a bunch of stuff if you just sign up for $1. There's like years worth of bonus content all on the Patreon. So would love for you to sign up and help the show financially. Of course, if you're listening to this on the day it is out, which is Thursday, the 14th of December, tomorrow night, 7 p.m, the Cooper's in Melbourne. It is my live podcast with Sammy Garlip of Harry Potter and the Boys, my other podcast. We have nearly sold out. So it's your last chance to get tickets, radiomike.com/tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun. To be honest, me and Sam haven't planned too much, but I still think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I would love to see as many of you there as possible, and I'll probably hang out after and grab some beers with people. So, please come along to that. Again, I'm super stoked by the ticket sales. I think we've sold a little bit more tickets than the last one in Feb, and hopefully it's a great night and we do another one soon because people really, really like the pod, and I'm really excited. So please, thank you if you've already got a ticket. If you haven't, if you're thinking of coming, please grab a ticket. If you're a single person, like you don't have any friends that like the pod or anything, either just come by yourself. I'll be around before. I'm going to say g'day to everyone, and I'll be around after. So definitely come. It's a really friendly group of people who listen to the pod, so I'm sure you'll be able to make friends. But yeah, I'd love to see you there. If you're shy about coming by yourself, don't be. I think it'll be great. So please come along. Feeling pretty nervous, as I always do around these things, but I'm definitely feeling like... Actually, I'm feeling less nervous than last time. Last time, I definitely called Pat before the show and said, hey, I'm going to cancel this. I can't do it. So I'm feeling a bit better than that. Have also discussed there may be next year a 20th Century Boy live show. Okay, it probably won't be like an episode like a normal week-to-week episode. It'll probably be more like me and Pat and maybe a guest just chatting on stage for 45 minutes to an hour. But yeah, super keen to do that and have you guys at a podcast. Like I've always been like, how do we do this podcast live? And I'm like, it doesn't have to be like a proper episode of the pod, proper in inverted commas. It can just be, a chat and a fun kind of night. So yeah, hopefully that happens in the new year, but fingers crossed. Okay. Of course, Tuesday, if you're listening on Thursday, Tuesday, 12th of December, my 29th birthday. Had a really special day. And thank you to everyone who reached out, said happy birthday. Always sort of makes my day. Sent a message or in the Discord. Feel free to join the Discord, by the way. Just shot me a happy birthday message. Really meant a lot. And basically, here's how it went down. Sunday, the 10th, is actually my brother's birthday. My brother and I are born 2 years and 2 days apart. So he's the 10th of December. I'm the 12th of December. So we always had a joint birthday on the 11th, generally, when we were kids. And I guess the thing is, because of that, when I was a kid, I actually thought that all siblings have birthdays within a few days of each other. I thought that's just how it worked because that's how kids think. Because me and my brother were 2 years, 2 days apart. We literally had our birthdays and it's just me and my brother. And then some people will be like, oh yeah, my birthday's in December, but my brother's birthday's in July. I was like, wait, what? How does that work? I also used to think when I was in prep that for a man and a woman to get married, the man has to be older than the woman. I just used to think that with no basis at all. I also used to think that to get a woman pregnant, you had to wee in her vagina. So lots of weird stuff happening when I was a kid. But had a really great birthday. I'm going to summarize kind of what went down. But I guess the first thing that I do have to point out, of course, is did we get a birthday sponsor? I did allude to a package from Arnott Shapes arriving in the mail a few weeks ago, very early. And yes, indeed, I can confirm that Arnott Shapes came through and did sponsor my 29th birthday. Round of applause, please, for Arnott Shapes, a classic Aussie snack. And I'm going to put the microphone down and walk out of frame briefly. So just stick with me. I'm going to hold the mic. No, I'm not going to pull the microphone down because the cord is long enough to get to the pantry where I'm going to basically grab all these shapes that they sent, and great birthday present for me because shapes are such a great snack. Now, this isn't all of the shapes, but they did send me a care package, bunch of chicken crimpy shapes. Now, if you're not from Australia, you may not know what shapes are, but they're basically just a biscuit by Arnott's, a savoury biscuit with different flavours. This is barbecue flavour, which is quite good as well. Pizza shapes, probably the classic. If you're going back, I think pizza and barbecue were the original shapes flavors. So this is my little give back to Shapes for sponsoring my birthday. And of course, we did have other flavors as well. And sorry guys, back in frame now. We got, of course, the cheese and bacon shapes, which is a great newer flavor. Cheddar shapes, probably more, I think a lot of people would view cheddar as a boring flavor. But personally, I really like cheddar, and the older I've gotten, the more I've respected cheddar. And a limited edition chicken palmy, which I would call it chicken parma, but they are Australia-shaped shapes. The reason the shapes are called shapes is because they're all in the shape of a shape. Now, that probably makes no sense, but basically, you've got, what do we got? Pizza shapes are hexagons, 6-sided. Barbecue shapes, I think, are pentagons. No, what are barbecue? Maybe pizza shapes are octagons, and then barbecue are hexagons. Cheese and bacon is like a rhombus with curved ends. Chicken crimpy, of course, is just an ovular kind of shape. Of course, the chicken palmy shapes are Australia-shaped. And then cheddar, just rectangle. No sign of my favourite flavour, which is savoury. I am going to die on this hill. Savoury shapes are the best flavour shapes. Everyone laughs at me when I say this, okay? Because everyone's like, savoury is the most boring flavour. Who would get savoury? I am sorry. okay? Savory Shapes, just plain salted biscuit, are delightful. You know, the older I've gotten, the more I take pride in my love of simplicity, okay? I love just a plain salted chip, right? I love just plain Doritos. None of this nacho cheese, double cheese, whatever shit on my Doritos, okay? Just a plain salted corn chip, a plain salted potato crisp, a plain salted shape. You know, the older I'm getting, the more I like vanilla ice cream. Just keep it simple. I don't need chips filled with all kinds of shit. I just need the bare minimum. That's what makes me happy. And I think that's me just getting older and older. Just give me plain. You know, the amount of chips, I think I talked about it at the start of the year. It might have been the start of last year. Chips have gotten out of hand. Chips are not okay anymore. Like, oh, this is wasabi and braised pork brisket with chili apple salad sauce. Like, that doesn't fit in a chip. Just give me plain or salt and vinegar, okay? But special thanks to Shapes. They did come through and sponsor my 29th birthday. There are photos on my Instagram at radio.mike. And of course, Shapes joins the long list of fantastic brands who have sponsored my birthday. The first brand to start off this tradition, Grilled, my 27th birthday, followed by Typo for my 28th birthday, and finally Shapes for my 29th. 30th birthday, we got to get a big one. My thoughts so far are either get Grilled, Typo, and Shapes to team up for an ultra sponsorship, or we just got to get a big sponsorship, whether it's Nintendo, whether it's, I don't know, something really, really cool, which most likely won't happen, but hey, I'll work on it for you guys. Really fun. Haven't really eaten the Shapes though. I did try the chicken palmy Shapes, but I didn't love them. But back to my birthday. Thank you again, Shapes, for sponsoring my birthday. Welcome to the radio family. My birthday was really fun. A few things that I've got to go through. Sunday, 10th of December, had like a little family gathering at my brother's house. You know, familiar faces of the show include Radio Mum, Radio Dad, Radio Dave, of course, from the Dave and Mike show, an old segment from this podcast that, you know what? I'm going to promise a return of the Dave and Mike show by the end of the year. I think people would be really excited for that. So that's going to happen. Who else? Yeah, just a few people. A bunch of people from my family were there. And, Alex, the coffee bandit, you know, recurring cast members of this podcast, if you've been a long-term listener of the pod. So, had a really good time. And of course, like, I think the last time I really talked about my parents on this show was when I was moving into this apartment, and the classic line of, my dad wanted to put a square table on the balcony, and my mum just goes, Tony, you're obsessed with square, which was just still probably to this day the funniest line of the year for me. That's line of the year. But realize just like hopefully this doesn't get back to my mum. I know there's various family members who listen to this show. Please don't pass this on. But realize just my mum sometimes just says silly stuff. Like she just says stuff that I'm like, what? In what universe would you say that? I'm sorry, but like what would make you say that? And I've decided that it happens so frequently. And, you know, with Nonna, we had Nonna's Greatest Hits. That's a recurring segment on this show. Hasn't happened for a while, but, you know, sometimes happens. Feel like with Mum, I've got to start a new segment, and it's called this. Mamma Mia! Here we go again. My mum said something stupid. By the way, does Mamma Mia just mean my mum? I think it does. So when they say Mamma Mia, here we go again, it's my mum, here we go again. Anyway, it's called Mamma Mia. Ironically, my mum loves Mamma Mia, the musical, and ABBA. Good on ya. So basically, we're all, you know, just sort of mingling, chatting to people, having a nice time, grazing some food, just chilling. Everyone's chatting. And Mum comes up to me and is like, oh, Mike, I love your shirt. I was just wearing a plain white Uniqlo t-shirt. Love your shirt? I said, thanks, Mum. It's from Uniqlo. Mum goes, Uniqlo? like, yeah, Uniqlo, there's one in the city. She's like, yeah, no, Mike. Now I'm in my mum, getting into character of my mum. Mike, it's Uniqlo. And then I'm just like, no, it's not. She's like, Mike. Because, like, in the family dynamic, I'm known for being a bit silly. I get a bit silly. That's just, that's what I do. I'm a bit silly. So mum thought I was having her on. And then mum's like, Mike, I know it's Uniqlo. I'm like, it's literally not Uniqlo. And then mum goes to Paul, my cousin. Paul, is he being silly? And Paul goes, no. Paul's laughing. He's like, no, it's Uniqlo. She's like, Paul. And then she goes to Claire. She's like, Claire, are they being silly? And then Claire was just like, no, it is Uniqlo. She's like, guys, I know it's Uniqlo. And I was like, Mum, it's literally not Uniqlo. It's Uniqlo. There's an L. And then I showed her the logo for Uniqlo. She's like, oh, is it Uniqlo? I always thought it was Uniqlo because I thought it was co like company and uni like one. I thought it was like one company. Maybe you had to be there. Mum's going around calling it and this is classic mum. Mum's the one who's like calls Maya Myers. She calls Target Target. She just always gets the name of stuff wrong. Just gets the name of like basically like you go out for Japanese. My mum always just, no matter what, she calls every Japanese restaurant Yoshi. She's like, oh, let's go to Yoshi. It's like, we have never been, and I don't think there is in Melbourne, a Japanese restaurant called Yoshi. She's like, yeah, Yoshi, we went the other time. And then it's like, no, that one's called, that's not called Yoshi. It's called like Okami or something. She's like, yeah, well, that's all the same. No, it literally isn't, Mum. Uniqlo and Uniqlo are not the same. Yoshi and Okami are not the same. Anyway, that's another edition of Mamma Mia, here we go again. My mum said something stupid. Just classic mum things. Send in your mum things. What's something that your mum just gets wrong despite being corrected time and time again? What is something that your mum just will not get right? And it's like it's not even like there's no shame. She has no shame. She just voluntarily gets it wrong and expects you to know what she's talking about. Because my mum has an infinite number of those things. Anyway, following that, it gets to my actual birthday on December 12th. And, I'm not, aside from getting my birthday sponsored on Instagram, I'm not massive on birthdays. I don't really need to do anything major. Like everyone's like, what are you going to do next year for your 30th? And I'm like, well, other than getting a sponsor, probably nothing. Like I'm not big on having a big part. Like I might do something, but I don't know. I'd rather save my money. So anyway, as a birthday present, basically Claire surprised me. She just was like, we're going somewhere on your birthday, take the day off work and I'm going to take you somewhere. And I was like, oh, what could it possibly be? Because there was nothing that I thought I had said nowhere that I'd said that I wanted to go. And I was like, oh, is it it would be something that I would like. And I was like, maybe it's laser tag or something related to VR or something nerdy like that. And it wasn't. But basically we're driving for an hour east of Melbourne. We actually leave Melbourne. I'm like, where are we going? I have no idea. She's like, oh, I would have thought you would have known by now if you've been there before. I'm like, I'd have no idea where we're going. Anyway, we get there. She's taken me to Gumbaya World, which is basically a theme park in East Victoria. I don't know, near Gippsland. And I've never been there before. The only time I actually remember hearing about Gumbaya World is when, and rewind to first year of this podcast when I was paneling the hot breakfast on Triple M, which was one of the hardest jobs I ever did in my life. I can't believe I did it looking back. I was so bad. And yeah, I was paneling the hot breakfast with Eddie Maguire, Luke Darcy, and Will Anderson in probably 2019. And I'm pretty sure it was sponsored by Gumbaya World. So all I remember hearing is Eddie Maguire being like, well done on winning the quiz. You can take home 3 passes to Gumbaya World. Take the kids out to Gumbaya World. There's water slides, roller coasters, and all the rides you could possibly imagine. Go down to Gumbaya World. And I even remember at the time being like, Gumbaya World? What a terrible name for a theme park. It doesn't make you want to go there. It sounds shit, right? Compared to Luna Park or Wonderland or Adventure Park. It's Gumbaya World. What the hell is that? Anyway, so I'd never been to Gumbaya World. First thing I see is a lot of water slides. And if you know me, you know I love water slides, right? Me and Mikey D, friend of the show, did a water slide ambassador tour of Adventure Park Geelong at the start of 2021. And we want to do something else with water slides. But yeah, I was like, great, this is awesome. But the thing was, because I didn't expect to be going to a theme park, I feel like I mentally wasn't in the headspace to go on rides, thrill rides, because they have a bunch of roller coasters and a bunch of water slides. Anyway, so we got there. It was awesome. Huge lines, super busy, lots of end of year school excursions to Gumbaya World. So there were just so many school kids there. And the lines were so long. We waited in line for 45 minutes to go on this roller coaster. That was really fun. But waiting in line, then because we went on all the dry rides first, and then we went on this spinny ride that just spins you around in a circle, and we were like, oh, this is chill, this is fun. And then we both just got really dizzy. We were like, oh my God, I feel sick. I really want to get off. I think I'm just getting old, right? And then we were too dizzy, let's just go on water slides for the rest of the day. So anyway, lined up for the first water slide, probably were in line for an hour. And I was like, oh my God, we've been here for 4 hours. We've been on 2 rides. Finally went down the water slide. It was awesome. And then I was like, okay, let's be real. If we line up for another water slide, basically we're going to go on one more slide until the end of the end of the day. So let's just go buy fast passes. Here's the thing. I don't think I will ever go back to not having a fast pass at a theme park, okay? Maybe it's a privileged point talking here because they obviously cost more money on top of the entry fee, but I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm fast pass only. I don't want to wait in line for a ride, okay? I'm not going to do it. Think I felt it first at Disneyland, right? When we were in Paris, and actually I just put out an episode of the World Tour where I talked all about Disneyland Paris and all the rides there, so check it out. It's on this feed. Realized it at Disneyland when we paid so much money for the fast pass and just blitzed through all the rides, skip the massive lines, just fast pass it, baby, right? And honestly, it's just so much better. You have 3 times as much fun in half the amount of time, a quarter of the amount of time, right? Because if you're lining up at a theme park for 2 hours for a ride, that's literally a quarter of the day just for one ride. You basically need fast pass on a busy day, okay? So I will never go back to not fast pass. So we walk to the entrance and we go and buy the fast passes, which were really cheap, by the way. This is not an ad for Gumbaya World. They did not sponsor my birthday, but basically, the fast passes at Gumbaya World were $35. So we got that, and you get 5 water slides fast pass. So I'm like, yeah, great. Let's just do that. We'll have way more fun. We won't have to stand in line, which is exhausting and boring. I'd rather just have more fun and spend the money. Because that's how I justified it in my mind. I'm like, more fun, spend more money, have more fun, waste less time. Get home earlier, have more time, have more hours in the day, right? That's just how it is. And basically, so then to go, when you get the fast pass at Gumbaya World, here's a little hack, right? They give you a wristband, and it's a blue wristband, and then you go, instead of waiting in line and going to the top of the slides, you just get in an elevator, and it takes you up, and you just skip the line. And so we go in. She's like, oh, yep, this is your first one? Yep, cool, because you get 5. She then has a texter and she's like trying to, basically they tally it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she puts 1. Text is out of ink. She tries again. Nah. And she just goes, oh, it's out of ink. And I was like, okay. She's like, yeah, so just go up. It's like, okay. So we go up. We get a free slide without waiting in line. We go back. Oh, text is still out of ink. Oh, okay. Yeah, just go up. Okay. We get another free slide. Go around again. Yeah, no, sorry guys, text is not working. Probably just go up. Go up. 3 slides for free. Not waiting in line. And at this point, I'm like, well, if someone just catches on to this system, if one person in FastPass just spreads to the rest of the park, hey, the texter in FastPass isn't working. You can just go up as many times as you want. There's no limit, right? Then the whole park's doomed. So I'm keeping it to myself. Go around again. Now she's like, all right, like, yeah, I think I can fix it. Has like a felt tip pen. And now she's actually sort of digging into the band so it leaves a visible mark, right? Okay. So you're like, okay, cool. Now, like, hey, we got 3 slides for free. I'm happy to start the counter now. Then, after 2 more of the indent things, she then goes back to marker because she's got a new texter, which is a black Sharpie, writes it on. Soon as we go in the water, rubs straight off. Just like, wow, you could really game this system. We could really just infinitely use FastPass. I don't think anyone is counting. Like, sure, maybe eventually this teenage girl who's working at Gumbaya World, probably making like $18 an hour, is going to be like, hey, I think you've gone up more than 5 times. Like, I've let you go a few extra. But I actually don't think she would, because I don't think she gets paid enough or is confident enough to tell 2 adults, hey, you can't do it. Because we're just like, yeah, we can. This is what our band says, right? So you just keep going up. And I was like to Claire, you know what she probably should do is like make a hole in the band. Because that way, 5 holes, bam, you've used your 5 turns. Anyway, I wasn't giving that advice out to her for free because that would be anti us being able to keep going on the rides. Anyway, eventually we got sick of going on the slides. We decided to go home. Great birthday present, by the way. Had such a good time. Drive home. Claire was actually sick, probably from too much sliding. So we drive home. I play a bit of PlayStation. We go out to dinner at Ladyboy in Richmond, which is one of my favorite restaurants, by the way. Great time. Go home. Absolutely knackered. Go to sleep. And that was my birthday. Birthdays come really quick. Come and go really quick now. Like, I'm 29. This year went really quick. I can't believe we're nearly at Christmas. But yeah, I guess like to wrap up the birthday chat, genuine thanks to all of you. Like, you made my year great. Obviously, it's not the end of the show, the end of the year, but, to all of you, like regular listeners, to any like pop in, pop out listeners, to any first time listeners, yeah, thanks for hanging out. If you've checked out my content anywhere, like this year's been awesome. I'm so stoked with the growth that I've had, and I love making this podcast as always. Of course, I went overseas, still put podcasts out. So yeah, I'm really happy. Thanks so much, guys. Had a great birthday. Hopefully 29 is as good as 28. And yeah, then on to the big 3-0. What else did I have to talk about today? Oh yeah, I had a few just little things that I wanted to bring up before I wrap. This is a bit more of a casual show, this episode, a bit more casual than normal. I did find one thing, because obviously like Squid Game's been really big again lately, that brand. And I wanted to talk a bit about Squid Game. I finished up Squid Game, The Challenge, the reality show, loved it. Did a video on it on YouTube, so go check that out. 2 things on Squid Game. The first thing is, I've realized the Squid Game theme actually blends really well with a song from Harry Potter. So if you take the main Squid Game theme, right, that's the main Squid Game theme. Then take the Diagon Alley theme from Harry Potter. Right? Speed up the Squid Game theme by 30%. Don't ask me how I figured this out. I was just humming them both in my head, and I was like, I have to check if this is actually sounds as similar as I think it does. Speed up the Squid Game theme 30%. Here's what you get. Sounds pretty similar. That's just a little tidbit. I don't know, springing whatever. But I did want to do, and feel free to send your own in. I wanted to talk about, because obviously Squid Game is like, they play like children's games, but it's life or death. You know, the first one is red light, green light. If you get caught moving on the red light, you get shot to death. Bam, bit gory, but it is what it is. You know, then there's tug of war, you know, stuff like that, right? Marbles, different childish games. So I wanted to do my thoughts on games that could be in Squid Game Season 2. So these are games I think could be in Squid Game Season 2. And of course, like, the reality show introduces a few new games as well, including battleships, and there's definitely one more that wasn't in the show, but yeah, I can't remember. And then also Mr. Beast did a Squid Game, and he also introduced one game I think that was different, which was the final game, which was musical chairs, right? So I'm not going to do, I have included musical chairs in my list, but like whatever, I'm going to walk through it now. So here are my thoughts on games I think could be in Squid Game Season 2. Number 1, musical chairs. So think about it like this. It would, like, think about it from a drama television standpoint. All these people walking around, waiting for the music to stop. Bam, everyone sits down, one person left, shot in the head, dead, right? And I can see them like getting into fights, throwing the chairs around, trying to push people off, trying to like, you know, it would get violent and aggressive. And that's what like happens in all the Squid Game games. So that would be really, really intense. From there, number 2, chess, or an equivalent of chess. Like, I don't know if chess is as big in South Korea as it is in the West, but actually imagine chess in Squid Game for 1 second, right? Basically, you know, I think it's 8 pawns, like 8 people would have to be pawns. Of course, the pawns in chess are like the sacrifice pieces that just kind of, you know, you don't care about. One person, I reckon, would be the king. Of course, you'd have the queen, 2 bishops, like, and then the drama around people having to choose which piece they're going to be, or someone allocating the pieces and being like, you're a pawn. No, I don't want to be a pawn. Yeah, you're a pawn. And then someone would be making the commands, like picture it like the wizard's chess thing in Harry Potter, right? Someone would be like, all right, pawn to E2. And like a pawn could be like, no, like, and it's like actual death, I guess. Like, no, he'll kill me. It's like, yeah, but you have to do it for the game. So basically like the control that one person would have and like the fear that other people would have would be super intense. Basically real life wizard's chess where the pieces are actual people and they have to move or they die anyway. Like, absolutely, that would be absolutely crazy, I think. Number 3 that I think could be really good in Squid Game, Simon Says. So, or whatever, like any equivalent of Simon Says. So it's like, Simon says, hands on head. Simon says, hands on nose. Simon says, hands on knees. Hands on feet. And of course, if you put your hands on your feet when he didn't say Simon Says, you're dead, mate. I think that would be super, like these are all I think could be really dark and twisted and really fun. Number 4, jump rope. Like where you have to like, basically at school, we played where like the teachers sort of swing the rope and one by one you have to jump in, do one jump, run out, right? Just keep doing that until people miss and then they basically die. That would be super intense. This is an intense discussion, by the way, guys. Finally, number 5, the floor is lava. So like whether it's actual lava or like an electrified floor or like something like that, basically just get people having to like jump around on platforms and if they fall, it's hot lava and they die. I think that would be like, or even if it's like there's nothing, but if they just fall off or don't make a jump, they just land on the floor and then someone comes and shoots them. That would be super intense. Those are my thoughts. Send in what you think could be a really good Squid game for season 2 of Squid Game, which I am really excited for, by the way. And season 2 of Squid Game, The Challenge. Also really excited for that. I love Squid Game so much. I think it's really, really good. So yeah. Okay. 2 more things for today's show. I wanted to talk a little bit about how E3 is coming to an end. E3, if you're not familiar, is the Electronics Entertainment Expo that's like been around for a really long time and sort of plummeted during COVID. It's essentially like a gaming trade show where like the major gaming developers and publishers and companies unveil like new products, new games and everything like that. So heaps of like really big consoles and stuff were revealed at E3 over the years. Like the Nintendo Switch was revealed at E3 over the years. I remember watching that E3. And here's the thing. I think it makes sense that E3 is gone because people stopped caring about it, and over COVID it became really hard, and I think it just, it's never happening again, and there's other game shows now. But here's the thing. Some of my best memories from when I was like a teenager at high school are staying up really late, because basically it was in America, so all of these things were being streamed essentially on YouTube at like 3 a.m. Melbourne time. So me and all my friends, all my nerdy friends at school, we would stay up really late and watch E3 while having like a group chat on Facebook Messenger and just going nuts at all the reveals, right? It was just like absolutely crazy. Did this pretty much every E3, like into uni, would stay up till 3 a.m. Lots of like Smash Bros reveals back in the day were done in E3, and it was so exciting. Like I just loved it so much. Just watching, I'm pretty sure Banjo-Kazooie was revealed for Smash Bros at E3 in like I don't know what year, but that's how recent, like it was 2018, maybe 2019, probably 2018. All of this stuff that, got revealed over the years at E3 and now it's not happening. I do definitely miss the days when it was a bit more simple and you would literally just stay up and stream stuff and talk to your friends online, and you didn't have to worry about work the next day. Only school, but school was stupid. I am going to miss that. I mean, it obviously hasn't happened for a while, and there still are similar things happening, but I couldn't kind of wrap up this pod without just mentioning E3 finishing up. I think it was such an important part of gaming, and like I absolutely loved it. And it's disappointing that it's finishing up, but I think that's just the reality. There's so many other things now that are like, a lot of the publishers and developers and stuff just do their own kind of press events, and like Nintendo just do their own Nintendo Directs outside of E3. PlayStation does their own shows. Xbox does their own shows because it's just easier for them. They don't have to coordinate around the schedule of E3, right? They just do it themselves. And I think it was Nintendo that first pulled out of E3. We're like, we're not doing anything for E3. And then maybe it was PlayStation, then Xbox. Just like, yeah, we're not doing anything for E3. We just don't want to. That was like basically when I knew it was over. And it was mainly over COVID. But when they all just pulled out and were like, yeah, why are we doing this? That's when I was just like, oh yeah, E3 is dead. Like it hasn't happened. I don't know if it's even happened for a while, but yeah. RIP E3. See you in another life, maybe. Okay, I will do one more listener question before we wrap. This one is from Radio Maple, who posted in the Discord. Don't know if you're taking topic ideas, but if you were interested, how about a look into the Jak and Daxter game series? Okay, I can talk about this. If you're not familiar, Jak and Daxter was like, it first came out on the PS2. Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, or the Precursor Legacy, something like that. And I don't even know really where to start, because Jak and Daxter was developed by Naughty Dog, who also created like Crash Bandicoot, but they've since kind of moved into more serious games like Uncharted. They made that game series. Really good developer, made really good games. And they were also really kind of friends or like almost partners with another game developer called Insomniac, who back in the day, Insomniac developed Spyro the Dragon and Naughty Dog developed Crash Bandicoot. And then from there, they basically, Naughty Dog made Jak and Daxter, Insomniac made Ratchet and Clank. I always preferred Ratchet and Clank. They were very similar, like buddy-up games, but I was always a Ratchet and Clank kind of guy, not a Jak and Daxter kind of guy. One of my friends actually loved Jak and Daxter. I mainly played it there. So there was a few games in that series. There was Jak and Daxter, Jak 2 and Jak 3. Then there was a racing Jak and Daxter game. I think it was called Jak X Combat Racing. And then there was a spin-off on PSP that was just called Daxter, where you just played as Daxter. Daxter was like this little weasel kind of thing, and Jak was like this elf. It was a weird game, but essentially, here's my experience with it. I had Daxter on PSP, really liked it. It was like a platformer kind of combat game, bit of fun. Then, like, I'd always sort of known about it and played it a little bit at friends' houses, but I never actually played a full game until I think on PS3 or PS4, they released like the original Jak and Daxter trilogy HD remaster. So I just picked it up. I bought it. And I played the first one. The first Jak and Daxter game was like a 3D platformer collectathon like Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Super Mario 64, that kind of vibe, where you'd kind of go into different worlds, find like hidden secrets and find these like objects that help you progress. And actually really liked it. In fact, I think I 100%ed that game, which is where you just get everything, get the platinum trophy on PlayStation. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was really fun, held up really well. Story-wise, pretty basic, but I don't really care much about story in games. But as a game, I really liked it. Then I went on to Jak 2. And I guess, like, I don't think people are going to like what I'm about to say. Jak 2, like, completely changed from the first one. And it was now, like, more of a, like, dark, gritty, open world adventure game that was almost like GTA, but for kids. And you would just go around this big city doing missions, fighting people, doing all this shit. And, like, there was, like, it even had, like, a bit of gun combat, which I don't know if it was in the first one. I don't think it was, but you had, like, guns and stuff. But I just remember, compared to Ratchet and Clank, which had, like, was a third-person shooter platformer, people who don't play games are just like, what the fuck does all this mean? But keep listening, why not? It's fun hearing me talk about shit. The gun mechanics were really bad, and honestly, I know people love those games, Jak 2 and Jak 3, and maybe I need to revisit them, but I actually remember being like, this game sucks. Like, it's just a bad open world 3D game. The gun mechanics are awful. It's not good. And then Jak 3, I think, was just similar. Like, they just evolved on that gameplay. I remember you could, like, hijack, like, hover bikes and stuff and just drive them around the city. Maybe I do need to revisit it because I didn't give it heaps of time. But I think I was just expecting it to be another version of the first one, which I loved. And it was just, like, this attempt of being this kiddie, dark game that was, like, gritty and emo. And you could turn into, like, a Dark Jak, which was just, like, a black-haired version of Jak. It was just a weird game. I'm sure people are going to be really pissed off that I'm saying this because I know those games are really well loved by like 90s and 2000s kids, but the sequels never resonated with me. I played the racing one at my friend's place, and I know you could be Ratchet and Clank in the racing one, I think, but yeah, overall, loved the first one. Enjoyed that PSP one when I was a kid, and then never really got too far into the second or third one. Never really resonated with me. If people genuinely think I should revisit, I probably will. Like, especially over summer, I'm going to have a bunch of time for gaming because I won't be working or going into the office heaps. But yeah, unfortunately, I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but that's just my thoughts on the Jak. Because, like, I do think, and I talked about this last week, I think Simpsons Hit and Run was a better version of like the kid GTA or the PG GTA than Jak and Daxter was, because the Simpsons Hit and Run was lighter, it was comedy, it was funny, it was the Simpsons, whereas Jak and Daxter was just trying to be this weird, gritty, like emo fucking game, and I was like, this is stupid. Maybe because I played it as an adult. I'm positive if I played it as a kid, I probably would have loved it because I would have eaten that shit up. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really love it. All right, let's finish up. The plug. There you go. I think we've hit 45 minutes on this pod, so, not a short pod. after all. Plug-wise, just come to the live show tomorrow night. I would love to see you there. If you don't have money, shoot me a message. I will organize a ticket for you. Okay, aside from that, patreon.com/Radio Mike, the Pat and Mike show will be up on Friday. Like every Friday, huge back catalogue there. We are doing a Christmas special coming up soon. Those are always hilarious, and I love doing them. And there is going to be some content over the summer break anyway, so we won't be going far. Don't stress too much about that. I think that's mainly it. So no, just take these leaving words. I love ya. Thanks for making me have a very special birthday, and I'll see you next week. My name's Radio Mike. This has been the inside of my mind. Catch you later.